Dear friends, good morning on Friday the 18th of June. It's so exciting that we are sending people into ordained ministry from our church, and we're receiving a curate in a year's time. Gareth Griffith is being ordained on Sunday the 27th of June to serve his curacy at St Lawrence's Lechlade. Simon has had a bishop's advisory panel, that's his selection conference yesterday, and another member of our church is in the discernment process at the moment. I can't give you his name because his employer doesn't know about his plans yet. We interviewed a potential curate last week and we've offered him a post here, which he's accepted. Again, I can't give you his name because his appointment needs to be approved by the diocese. Now, there are 3 short letters in the New Testament that outline the role of an ordained minister, the so-called pastoral epistles, Paul's letters to Timothy and to Titus. Timothy was the young man who Paul had appointed to pastor the church in Ephesus. It was very easy for older members of the church to patronise and look down on him. So Paul encourages him to counter their criticism by being a great example to the church and a great teacher of the church. Don't let anyone look down on you because you're young, says Paul, but set an example to the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith and in purity. In other words, Timothy is to model the gospel before he is to teach it. His speech must be under control. He mustn't swear or blaspheme or gossip or fly off the handle. His conduct must be above reproach. He must live a clearly godly life. He must love people and not exploit, bully or abuse them. He must be an example of deep faith in Jesus, putting him first, being passionate about him. He must live a pure life, especially in his sexual conduct, in a culture like Ephesus, which was as highly sexualized as ours. And what is true of Timothy is true of all the pastors in our church, and especially those of us who have responsibility for leadership in the church. But Timothy is not just to be a model, he is also to be a preacher and a teacher. Ministry is certainly not less than being a good example, but it is more. Ordained ministers must be able to communicate the gospel. In fact, this is the only gift that is specifically mentioned in the pastoral epistles. But we ministers need to give ourselves to this exacting task. So Paul says, until I come, devote yourself to the public reading of Scripture, to preaching and to teaching. Do not neglect your gift, which was given to you through prophecy, when the body of elders laid their hands on you. There are so many other good and worthy things that we could and should be doing as ministers. But we must not neglect this primary responsibility, to preach and to teach the gospel. It's easy to despair at such a high calling, to watch our life and our doctrine closely. All of us who are ministers are deeply aware of our failures and shortcomings, so I take great heart from what Paul says next. Be diligent in these matters, give yourself wholly to them, so that everyone may see your progress. Watch your life and your doctrine closely. Persevere in them, because if you do, you will save both yourself and your hearers. Did you note those 2 words, progress and persevere? None of us is perfect. No one is a fully formed minister. We're all works in progress. There is so much more to learn and so much of our lives still to bring under the lordship of Jesus. But people should be able to see progress in our life and doctrine, our example and our teaching. They should see us persevering in the ups and downs of life. And what is the result of such a ministry? People will be saved along with their ministers. So please pray for such progress and perseverance for those of us who have this responsibility in our church, and pray for those who are embarking on lives of ordained ministry. God bless you today.